Simurgh, also spelled simorgh, simurgh, simurgh or simurv, is a benevolent, mythical flying creature. It is sometimes equated with other mythological birds such as Arabic Anqā, Persian Homā, or Turkic Kerkés. Copyright S. A figure can be found in all periods of Greater Iranian art and literature and is also evident in the iconography of Georgia, medieval Armenia, the Byzantine Empire, and other regions that were within the realm of Persian cultural influence. The name Simurgh derives from Middle Persian Pahlavi sēnmurw, also attested in Middle Persian Pāzand as sīna-mrū. The Middle Persian term derives in term from Avestan unregistered trademark unregistered trademark IQ Blankstrom sāēnō. The bird sāēnā, originally a raptor, likely an eagle, falcon, or sparrowhawk, as can be deduced from the etymological cognate Sanskrit angstrom yen that also appears as a divine figure. Sāēnā is also a personal name, which is root of the name. The word was also borrowed into Armenian as sīra-mrū peacock unregistered trademark. The most prestigious award given by FAJR International Film Festival, Iran's major annual film festival, is called the Crystal Simurgh, after the mythical creature. Mythology. Form and function equals. The simurgh is depicted in Iranian art as a winged creature in the shape of a bird, gigantic enough to carry off an elephant or a whale. It appears as a peacock with the head of a dog and the claws of a lion, sometimes, however, also with a human face. The simurgh is inherently benevolent and unambiguously female. Being part mammal, she suckles her young. The simurgh has teeth. It is an enmity towards snakes, and its natural habitat is a place with plenty of water. Its feathers are said to be the color of copper, and though it was originally described as being a dog bird, later it was shown with either the head of a man or a dog. C, the first element in the name, has been connected in folk etymology to modern Persian C. Although this prefix is not historically related to the origin of the name Simurgh, 30 has nonetheless been the basis for legends incorporating that number, for instance, that the simurgh was as large as 30 birds or had 30 colors. Other suggested etymologies include Pahlavi simurgh and Avestan sīna-mrū. Iranian legends consider the bird so old that it had seen the destruction of the world 3 times over. The simurgh learned so much by living so long that it is thought to possess the knowledge of all the ages. In one legend, the simurgh was said to live 1,700 years before plunging itself into flames. The simurgh was considered to purify the land and waters and hence bestow fertility. The creature represented the union between the earth and the sky, serving as mediator and messenger between the two. The simurgh roosted in Gurkarina, the Hā'em tree of life, which stands in the middle of the world sea. The plant is potent medicine and is called all-healing, and the seeds of all plants are deposited on it. When the simurgh took flight, the leaves of the tree of life shook, making all the seeds of every plant fall out. These seeds floated around the world on the winds of Valavata and the rains of Taishtir, in cosmology taking root to become every type of plant that ever lived and curing all the illnesses of mankind. The relationship between the simurgh and Hā'em is extremely close. Like the simurgh, Hā'em is represented as a bird, a messenger, and the essence of purity that can heal any illness or wound. Hā'em, appointed as the first priest, is the essence of divinity, a property it shares with the simurgh. The Hā'em is in addition the vehicle of Fa. Pharaoh in turn represents the divine mandate that was the foundation of a king's authority. It appears as a bird resting on the head or shoulder of would-be kings and clerics, indicating almost acceptance of that individual as his divine representative on earth. For the commoner, Bahram wraps fortune glory around the house of the worshipper, for wealth and cattle, like the great bird Saēnā, and as the watery clouds cover the great mountains. Like the simurgh, Pharaoh is also associated with the waters of Vauruk-Asher. In your T12.17 simorgh's tree stands in the middle of the sea Vauruk-Asher, it has good and potent medicine and is called all-healing, and the seeds of all plants are deposited on it. In the sēnmurw. The simurgh made its most famous appearance in the Firdausi's epic sēnmurw, where its involvement with the prince Zal is described. According to the sēnmurw, Zal, the son of Sam, was born albino, When Sam saw his albino son, he assumed that the child was the spawn of devils, and abandoned the infant on the mountain Alberts. The child's cries were heard by the tender-hearted Simurgh, who lived atop this peak, and she retrieved the child and raised him as her own. Zal was taught much wisdom from the loving Simurgh, who has all knowledge, but the time came when he grew into a man and yearned to rejoin the world of men. Though the Simurgh was terribly saddened, she gave him 3 golden feathers which he was to burn if he ever needed her assistance. Upon returning to his kingdom, Zal fell in love and married the beautiful Rudeba. When it came time for their son to be born, the labor was prolonged and terrible. Zal was certain that his wife would die in labor. Rudeba was near death when Zal decided to summon the Simurgh. The Simurgh appeared and instructed him upon how to perform a caesarean section, thus saving Rudeba and the child, who became one of the greatest Persian heroes, Rostam. Simurgh also shows up in the story of the 7 trials of Esfandiar and a story of Rostam and Esfandiar. In Azerbaijani folklore Simurgh also goes by the name of sēnmurw. In an ancient tale about Malik Muhammad, the son of one of the wealthiest kings of Azerbaijan, that king had a big garden. In the center of this garden was a magical apple tree that yielded apples every day. An ugly giant named Div stole all the apples every night. The king sent Malik Muhammad and his elder brothers to fight the giant. In the course of this tale, Malik Muhammad saves Simurgh's babies from a dragon. In return, Simurgh resolved to help Malik Muhammad. When Malik Muhammad wanted to pass from the dark world into the light world, Simurgh asked him to provide 40 half-carcasses of meat and 40 wineskins filled with water. When Simurgh put the water on its left wing and the meat on its right wing, Malik Muhammad was able to enter the light world. In Sufi poetry In classical and modern Persian literature the simourgh is frequently mentioned, particularly as a metaphor for God in Sufi mysticism. In the 12th century Conference of the Birds, Iranian Sufi poet Farid ad-Din Attar wrote of a band of pilgrim birds in search of the simurgh. In the poem, the birds of the world gather to decide who is to be their king, as they have none. The Hupam, the wisest of them all, suggests that they should find the legendary sīmurgh, a mythical Persian bird roughly equivalent to the western phoenix. The Hupal leads the birds, each of whom represent a human fault which prevents man from attaining enlightenment. When the group of 30 birds finally reach the dwelling place of the sīmurgh, all they find is a lake in which they see their own reflection. Through cultural assimilation the simurgh was introduced to the Arabic-speaking world, where the concept was conflated with other Arabic mythical birds such as the ofnus, a bird having some mythical relation with the date palm, and further developed as the ruck. In Kurdish folklore simurgh is shortened to Zamir in the Kurdish language. The scholar Trevor quotes 2 Kurdish folktales about the bird. These versions go back to the common stock of Iranian sīmurgh stories. In one of the folk tales, a hero rescues Simurgh's offspring by killing a snake that was crawling up the tree to feed upon them. As a reward, the Simurgh gives him 3 of her feathers which the hero can use to call for her help by burning them. Later, the hero uses the feathers, and the Simurgh carries him to a distant land. In the other tale, the Simurgh carries the hero out of the netherworld. Here the Simurgh feeds its young with its teats, a trait which agrees with the description of the Simurgh in the Middle Persian book of Zdspram. In another tale, Simurgh feeds the hero on the journey while the hero feeds Simurgh with pieces of Euro unregistered trademark Sfat. Gallery. See also, hybrid creatures in mythology, simorgh, a related being in Slavic mythology, konral, Turkic mythological hybrid bird, oksoko, Turkish mythological double-headed eagle, griffin or griffon, lion bird hybrid, sphinx, mythical creature with lion's body and human head, Pegasus, winged stallion in Greek mythology, chimera, Greek mythological hybrid monster, Lamassu, Assyrian deity, bull lion eagle human hybrid, Anza, Mesopotamian monster, Ziz, giant griffin-like bird in Jewish mythology, New, Japanese legendary creature, Pichu or Pai Yao, Chinese mythical creature, Fenghuang, a mythological bird of East Asia. Notes. References: Schmidt, Hans Peter. Simurgh. Encyclopedia Iranica. Costa Mesa, Mazda Pub. Armani, Homā a Simurgh, an Old Persian fairy tale. Sunrise Magazine.